Celebrating Africa's rich cultural heritage.
Good day, our wonderful viewers out there. You are on to ABN TV News. My name is Kayode Ayeni, and today we'll be bringing you the updates that came up during the governorship election in Ondo State that held on October 10, 2020. Like I said, my name remains Kayode Ayeni, and I will be giving you this report in detail. Now, the news headline. Election observers held pre-election conference on analysis report in Ondo State. PDP rejects OAU Vice Chancellor as Ondo State election returning officer. INEC distributes election materials to polling units across the state. INEC held press statement on the accident that occurred in the Riverine area of Ondo State. PDP governorship candidate cast his vote in his polling unit in Akure. I will emerge victorious, says Akeredolu. INEC declares Ondo governorship election. Governor Akeredolu celebrates victory in his country home in Owo. Now, these are the news headlines. We will bring you the news in full details after the short break. Stay tuned. Welcome back from the break. Now the news in details. Election observers held pre-election press conference on analysis report in Ondo State. Just as the governorship election in Ondo State was heating up and drawing near, election observers across various boards held a pre-election statement to brief pressmen and the general public on the analysis report they have recorded so far. Our reporter Kayode has the details.
The Yaga African, which is an election observation, have on Thursday held a press statement on the governorship elections scheduled to hold on the 10th of October 2020. Speaking, the board co-chairman Yaga Africa, Dr. Mrs. Aisha Abdullahi, said the findings from the observation so far has revealed a consistent trend of violence and arms stockpiling across some local government areas in the state. She went further to highlight the local government areas which include Akoko Southwest, Akure South, Akure North, Akoko Southeast, Akoko Northwest, Irele, Idonre, Esaudo, Okitipupa, Ilaje, and Owo local government area. She urged all security agencies to neutralize any form of violence, thuggery, and gangster politics that might tend to occur in those aforementioned areas and the entire 18 local government areas in the state so as to have a peaceful, fair, free, and credible election.
October 10th, 2020, the people of Ondo will go to the polls to elect a governor in what promises to be a keenly contested election. This is the second governorship election conducted by INEC amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. 17 political parties are on the ballot, having fulfilled all conditions for candidates nomination. 1,478,460 people representing 81% of registered voters have collected their permanent voters cards and are expected to participate in the election. As indicated in Yaga Africa's first pre-election observation report, 3 political parties dominated the political campaigns in the build-up to the election. They are the All Progressives Congress, the People's Democratic Party, and the Zenith Labour Party. Yaga Africa's pre-election observation findings revealed a consistent trend of violence and arms stockpiling across some local government areas in the state. More worrisome is the attack on some female party supporters in Oba Akoko, who were allegedly beaten and stripped naked for wearing politically branded t-shirts and face cards of one of the candidates. Notable local government areas where instances of violence and arms gathering were observed include Akoko Southwest, Akure South, Akure North, Akoko Southeast, Akoko Southwest, Iwele, Idare, Asia Ondo, Okitikukwa, Ilaje, and Owo. Yaga Africa considers these local government areas as potential hotspots for violence in this election. Yaga Africa knows that INEC has demonstrated commitment and readiness for this election. The level of preparations increased in all 18 local government areas based on reports from Yaga Africa's long-term observers deployed in the local government areas. Yaga Africa commends INEC for its resilience and determination to proceed with the election despite the 5,000 smart card readers destroyed under a questionable fire incident at the INEC office in Akure, which appears like an attempt to scuttle the Commission's preparedness and undermine its ability to conduct the polls.
Dr. Aisha also commended INEC for the activities and processes being put in place thus far, just as election is near. A pioneer board member of the Yaga Africa Initiative, Dr. Ezenwa Nwangu, in his address called on the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) and the security agencies to ensure that security around the notorious blind spot in riverine communities of Ilaje and Esaudo local government should be tightened, because over time these two various environs have been known for election riggings, perennial logistic challenges, and threats to polling officials, which may tend to low turnout of voters on the election day.
INEC should ensure adequate logistics preparations coupled with heightened security deployment to protect materials and officials. It is important for the Commission to increase its oversight in those areas to ensure consistency in the application of election guidelines. And this is consistent with the call made by Yaga Africa in its 2016 Ondo observation findings and 2019 Bayelsa governorship election on the conduct of election in riverine communities. Based on reports of pre-election violence, Yaga Africa is concerned about threats of violence on election day. While the contesting political parties and candidates have committed to a peace accord, it is important for the security agencies to deploy with competence, professionalism, and independence on election day. Since 2011, voter turnout has not exceeded 43% in Ondo State. Security agencies should manage their operation with utmost levels of neutrality and professionalism, respect for the law, and citizens' constitutional and civic rights should be maintained without excessive use of force.
Correspondingly, the Executive Director of Yaga Africa, Dr. Samson Itodo, gave an insight of the election observation methodology which will be put in place by the Institute, which involve the deployment of 600 stationary observers to representative statistical sample of 300 polling units and 28 mobile observers located in all the 18 local government areas of Ondo State. Dr. Todo went further to state that the methodology will be maximally utilized and monitored by the data unit so as to ensure transparency and fairness in the election.
We will be deploying 600 stationary observers to a sample polling units across the 18 local governments and across the world. And these citizens observers, 600 of them, will be stationed at those sample polling units, and they will send the results as well as information on the process down to the data center here in Akure, and those information will be analyzed, it will be verified before Yaga Africa will make its findings known. But in addition to the 600 observers, stationary observers, we would also be deploying 18 local government collation center observers to observe result collation at the local government level.
Yaga Africa also appealed to INEC permanent and hard-earned staff, all security agents, political party candidates, and their supporters, as well as all Ondo people, to work together to ensure that the Ondo governorship election is credible and peaceful. The press conference, which was delivered at the Bliss World Hotel, all Ijapo area of Akure City, has the attendance of pressmen and mass media journalists across various mediums. Yaga African, an election observer institute, just held a pre-election press statement with pressmen in Akure, the state capital of Ondo State, where the election is coming up on Saturday, the 10th of October 2020. Speaking, the executive director made it known about the reports that the observer have in their record so far and how INEC have done well in ensuring that these processes are coming into good play to ensure that a free, fair and credible election comes to play comes the 10th of October 2020. ABN TV. Shortly after, CDD Election Analysis Center holds press briefing on Ondo forthcoming governorship election. The Center for Democracy and Development Analysis Center held a press briefing to give a rundown analysis of the Ondo governorship election slated for Saturday, October 10, 2020. Speaking, the chairman CDD Election Analysis Center, Professor Adele Jinodu, said the center wishes to point out 3 major points of underscore concerning the electoral process eating up in the state. He went further to mention the 3 scores, which are firstly, to commend the maturity of the people of Ondo State towards the election, 2, readiness of INEC as impartial observers, and thirdly, the welfare of youth corpers during the election.
There are 3 major points that we want to underscore in this report, this press briefing. The first one is to commend the maturity of the people of Ondo State. We've also been impressed by the low level of fake news and disinformation in the state. The second point that we want to make is that we have also been impressed, not so much by the readiness of INEC, as by the confidence that people seem to have, the voters that we have interacted with, seem to have been expressing in INEC, that INEC will be an impartial observer that will make sure that the level playing ground, as far as its own role as an umpire, will be maintained for all political parties to take part in. But we are also aware that this level of confidence that we have witnessed also places a big burden on INEC, not only to appear to be impartial, but also to take action, positive action, to minimize incidents that may give the impression that it is not impartial as between or that it is partisan as between the various candidates that are contesting for the gubernatorial election. The point that we want to make is with respect to the welfare of youth corpers. I think we have taken this up at an informal level in terms of some of the officials of INEC, particular commissioners with whom we have been interacting in an informal manner. And we think it is very, very important that the welfare of youth corpers in particular should be taken into account.
The Director Center for Democracy and Development, Mrs. Idayat Azan, in her address, urged INEC to resolve the issue of result transmission, which is always getting delayed, most especially the result from the riverine areas of the state. She further called on security agencies to look keenly into the vehicular movement that occurred between the last 48 hours and the ones coming before border and during border closure, while charging them to enforce law as expected on the election day. Protocols that will be put in place to ensure that the election goes well was also discussed.
Previous elections, results from the riverine areas, local government, arrive the latest at the collation center, and this is creating worries in the hearts of people. So we call upon INEC to proactively ensure that logistics support is provided so that results can be immediately brought to the collation center. But beyond that, to make use of its results viewing platform constructively in this election, such that in those kind of areas, the results are immediately uploaded to avoid any form of tampering in the election. We also want to ensure that, we want to see that on the day of elections, our security operatives are busy enforcing the law, not just present and looking otherwise.
PDP rejects OAU Vice Chancellor as Ondo State Election Returning Officer. The People's Democratic Party had, in a press statement, rejected the appointment of the Vice Chancellor of the Obafemi Awolowo University, Professor Eyitope Ogunbodede, as the returning officer for the governorship election in the state. It was earlier recorded that the Independent National Electoral Commission appointed Professor Ogunbodede as the returning officer for the October 10 governorship election in the state. Our reporter Kayode has the details.
PDP rejects Professor Eyitayo Ogunbodede as Ondo State governorship election returning officer. The People Democratic Party, PDP, has in a press statement rejected the appointment of the Vice Chancellor of Obafemi Awolowo University, Professor Eyitope Ogunbodede, as the returning officer for the Ondo State governorship election slated for Saturday, October 10, 2020 in the state. Speaking, the Executive Governor of Oyo State and Chairman Ondo State PDP Governorship Campaign Council, Governor Seyi Makinde, said a person considered as partisan citizen should be considered as election returning officer and not a man who came from the same town with the incumbent governor of Ondo State, who also doubles as the candidate of the All Progressive Congress.
Governor Akeredolu is from Owo. Why do you need a chief returning officer who is also from Owo and who is a known crony of Governor Akeredolu? And my other question is, are there no other universities in Nigeria where you can get somebody that is disinterested, who does not have a vested interest in this process? So INEC should go ahead and look for someone else. He may not do anything, but know that once the chief returning officer makes a pronouncement, then the next thing is you have to go to a tribunal. We don't want to go to a tribunal. We don't want the people of Ondo State to be cheated. That's why we're saying to INEC that please go ahead and look for a returning officer that is neutral, that does not have any affiliation whatsoever with any of the candidates. INEC have been training the people that they will use. And Professor Bamire, the deputy VC, has been the one conducting the training. We don't mind, but we don't want people that will go out there and just make pronouncements and then they will say the rest is go to the tribunal. No, we will not accept it. We don't want the people of Ondo State to be cheated in this election. And then if you say somebody is a crony, yeah, it's not only that they are from the same town. The technical advisor to the INEC chairman, Professor Bolade Enyila, we know that his wife has a relationship with Professor Ogunbodede. So all we're saying is please decouple all of these things. We're watching, and we will say to the world, you know, the way it is. The fastest means, you know, because INEC chairman will also be watching. The entire world also will be watching. AIT is worldwide. Channels is worldwide. So the entire world is watching as we're speaking right now. So if they are waiting for official letter, we're running out of time. By this time tonight, that will be the end of campaigns. And then by this time tomorrow, there will be no movement. The process will have been underway. So we don't have that time to keep sending letters to Abuja waiting for a response. We will write officially, but at this stage, they need to address our concerns.
INEC distributes election materials to polling units across the state. The Independent National Electoral Commission commenced the distribution of election materials on Saturday morning in the state so as to make all materials available for the electoral process in the state. Our reporter has the details.
INEC begins distribution of election materials to polling units. At about 7 a.m. on Saturday morning, the Independent National Electoral Commission kickstarted the distribution of election materials to all polling units through the officials in the state. The distribution took place at Rag Center, Sacred Heart School, Cathedral, Ward 2 of Akure South Local Government Area of Ondo State. Election officials, polling unit presiding officers, corps members and security agencies were on ground for the take. People were also out prepared to exercise their franchise at the Sacred Heart School, which has polling units 9 and 10 respectively located in the compound of the vicinity.
INEC held press statement on the accident that occurred in the Riverine area of the state. The Independent National Electoral Commission has confirmed the accident that occurred in the Riverine area on Friday night when election officials and election materials were being transported to the area. Our reporter Kayode has the details.
The Independent National Electoral Commission has confirmed the accident that occurred on Friday night during the movement of personnel and election materials to the Riverine area of Ilaje Local Government Area of Ondo State. Speaking, the Ondo State Resident Electoral Commissioner Rufus Oluwatoyin Akeju said all documents were recovered due to the quick response gotten from the Navy personnel.
As we backed out all the materials from the central bank, I was the first to move out. Is a sort of synchronization that makes sure that none of our vehicles with sensitive materials is caught on the road at this hour. They arrive safely at their destination. Unfortunately, during the movement of personnel and materials to the liberalized registration area, not to their local government headquarters, but they arrived there safely. Ilaje local government of Ondo State last night, governorship for today's governorship election. Fortunately, all personnel and election materials were rescued when the boat capsized. Like we have a foresight. All our materials were wrapped in waterproof materials. They did capsize, as we said, everybody were in their life jackets as is provided, and every single person and every single document were recovered immediately. This was made possible by the officers and personnel of the Nigerian Navy who escorted the boat. The movement was eventually concluded, and of course voting commenced as planned in all the polling units today, as some of you have been witnessing around the state. INEC therefore commends the resilience and professionalism of the Nigerian Navy, as well as those of all other personnel involved in the exercise. I thank you.
The press statement, which took place inside the INEC conference hall, also had the attendance of various security aides, election observers, and election monitoring personnel.
PDP governorship candidate cast his vote in his polling unit in Akure. The governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Eyitayo Jegede, arrived at his polling unit 9, Ward 2 of Akure South Local Government Area to exercise his franchise on Saturday. Our reporter has the details.
The governorship aspirant and candidate of the People Democratic Party, Eyitayo Jegede, at about 9 a.m. arrived his polling unit, Unit 9 of Ward 2 in Akure South Local Government to cast his vote. He arrived the unit located inside the Sacred Heart Primary School Cathedral in the company of his wife, Ondo Jegede, amidst few individuals that escorted him. Upon arrival, Eyitayo Jegede joined the queue with others who were on the voting line. After a short while, Eyitayo Jegede and his wife were forced to seek shelter under the balcony in front of the classroom just as rain disrupted the electoral process and caused a disorder in line arrangement of the people. After a while, it was time for Eyitayo Jegede to cast his vote, but the card reader malfunctioned, starting with his wife, which later influenced his own as well. After waiting for a few minutes for the repair of the card reader device, which eventually came up, Eyitayo was able to cast his vote at about 10 minutes after 11, approximately 2 hours after his arrival. Speaking with pressmen after the vote casted, he expressed joy with the large turnout of the people of the state. He further expressed displeasure with the card reader device that went off during his time to cast his vote, while calling on INEC to ensure that they take prompt action on the card reader so that others will not witness card reader failure subsequently. Eyitayo went further to also express displeasure on the conduct of some security agencies who could not take action on some persons in official uniform standing behind people while casting their votes. He further condemned the attack meted out to his supporter by thugs who were in the company of a former commissioner of the state in Owo, local government area of the state.
The voters are... Put the mic down now. Follow the mic now. Take the mic one leg now. Have camera. I am really disappointed at some of the officers there. Because you have an officer standing directly behind the person casting the vote, and you have them giving allowance to a person who should not be there, giving signals to some people in their presence until I protested. And again, with INEC, I've heard good reports about INEC in Ondo, everywhere. I had good reports and I saw good things happening until it came to my son. And then this machine suddenly malfunctioned. And I had to be delayed, and I insisted I would stay until the machine works. And my wife's card also did not pass through. And then we tested others who were behind me. Their cards did not also pass through. So all of us waited there. After the protest, exactly 10-11 minutes thereafter, the machine started functioning again. So we give glory to God. I had voted, and I'm hopeful that it will work out well.
What's the feedback from other parts of the state, from your agents?
Well, because I need to verify a lot of all this information, I know that in respect of the voting, the major areas have been okay, except for Owo, where Sadiq Gubernatorial, one of the areas, was attacked at the polling unit by somebody who claims to be a leader in Owo, who went there with people who are dressed in armed camouflage with a pilot vehicle. The particulars of the registration are there with Sadiq Gubernatorial has given them to me. SPY. The person who owned the vehicle is...
Eyitayo called on President Muhammadu Buhari to show leadership duty by ensuring that the issue is not drawn under the carpet without justice meted to the defaulters.
And I seize this opportunity to call on Mr. President to please demonstrate leadership at this point and investigate this singular incident that happened in Owo, where one former commissioner had to instruct thugs to inflict violence on his own kinsman because he believes the kinsman is with Eyitayo Jegede. In Akure South, at Ijomu Junction, one of the NURT leaders, who we all know who also has immunity from the government, brandishing guns and shooting. And you see on social media, I hope the man did not die because you see blood all over him from gunshots. Mr. President should please, in the name of this country, for the future of our nation, investigate direct investigation of this incident and make examples of those who perpetrated it. Nobody should be above the law. Absolutely nobody. This is one incident where Mr. President must demonstrate that I am for no one, I am for everyone. And I hope and I trust him that if he hears my voice this time around this day, he will investigate all incidents that happen in Igbele and Owo and the one that happened today, because all they want to do is to discredit him. It's not me they want to discredit. It is Buhari they want to discredit. This is an APC controlled state, as I suspect. And they know our rising profile. And those who are desperate will continue to do things that are intended to turn and upset the will of the people. But I thank the voters. They have come out massively. I'm surprised. Massively, despite the raids. And the raids stopped anyway because we are voting to allow us to vote. So I thank you, President, but I also ask that you please concentrate also on the voting area, where you have officials in uniform sitting down directly behind those who are voting and taking signals. Officials in uniform. Customs man, one customs man is there. One customer, my name, one Ghanaian or somebody, seated there at the back. And we kept asking, leave the place. And it's not there because it's unofficial. We must set standards. There must be new values. And God help.
I will emerge victorious in the governorship election, says Akeredolu. The governor of Ondo State and governorship candidate of the All Progressive Congress Party, Rotimi Akeredolu, gave an assurance that he will emerge victorious in the governorship poll in the state. He made the statement after casting his vote in Ijebu 2, Ward 5 polling unit 2 in Owo town. Shortly after, in same vein, Betty Anyanwu Akeredolu debunked rumor that she was injured while trying to exercise her franchise. Our reporter has the details.
The incumbent governor of Ondo State and the candidate of the All Progressive Congress Party, Rotimi Akeredolu, has expressed confidence that he will emerge victorious in the governorship election in the state. Akeredolu, who arrived his polling unit Ijebu 2, Ward 5, Unit 2 in our local government area in the company of his wife Betty Anyanwu Akeredolu, was received with rousy cheers from supporters and well-wishers perceived to be loyal to his party, APC. After a short while, he casted his vote after following the test of his temperature using thermometer by the agent on ground.
Sorry, okay, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
While speaking with newsmen after casting his vote, Akeredolu expressed satisfaction with the large turnout of voters who are in attendance to exercise their franchise in the state.
If you ask for my observation, you're asking me what I observed at my polling unit. I've not been in any other place. I know that the shower we had has disrupted the plan. A few places there are waterlogged, but they have created area for us to maneuver. And I think we have voted in a peaceful manner.
So how confident are you that you're winning this election?
Confident about winning this election. I've always, you know me very well, I've always said to you that mine is about God, and that God, in His infinite mercy, will give me victory. So my confidence is in God, and I know God will give me victory.
What is your advice to the voters?
My advice to the voters is that please go, stay, cast your vote, move out of the place, but don't move too far, and ensure that you protect your vote so that your vote can be counted.
What happens were this result to not favor you?
What?
What will happen? What will you do if this result of election is in favor?
Let me tell you something. I don't ever think about that. So I don't know what will happen. All I know is what will happen when my victory is announced is that everybody will be joyous. There will be clapping, there will be singing, everybody will be merry. That's all I know. I don't know about the other one.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. It went on very smoothly, and I can assure you that from few reports I'm getting from our, things are going on well, and the turnout has been very massive. Because there I've received calls since I came in now. Immediately after interview from radio, I've got a few calls, and I believe it's going on well. Well, the arrangement I have here in my polling unit, I think it's perfect, and if that's what obtained or what is obtaining in other polling units, it's all right. My advice to voters is that, look, we still have time. We have this on, we still have over four hours to go. They have opportunity to go out. Let them come out and vote in their numbers, and when they complete the exercise, they should stay slightly away from the polling booth and ensure that they stand to watch their ballot boxes so that nobody carry them away. They should ensure that they protect their ballot boxes.
Shortly after, sequel to the video that went viral, causing concerns that Betty Anyanwu Akeredolu was injured. This Betty Akeredolu has debunked the rumor and says she was not injured at all, but disruption just came up and she is safe.
Yeah. That is insane. That is absurd. And that tells you how desperate people can be in politics or in a political landscape. I'm here with you in the ambience of my country home, and somebody is there doctoring video that I was injured. I don't know, were you the ones that injured me? No, but you know, it's all false. But such desperation will not do any good to them. I'm even happy that you asked that question for the world to see. What are these detractors are trying to do to damage the exercise, to distort information, to put one on a bad light. And I can assure you that within a few minutes I'll be receiving text messages, calls, are you injured? What happened? This and that. It's all false. So please, broadcast this, put it up on your TV stations immediately. Well, expectation that is that we will emerge victorious.
INEC declares Ondo governorship election results. The Independent National Electoral Commission has declared the results recorded in the poll. While declaring the result, the election returning officer, Professor Ebeli Dowo-Olayinka, announced Rotimi Akeredolu of the All Progressive Congress Party as the winner, having pulled the highest votes in the governorship election. Our reporter, Kayode, has the details. The Independent National Electoral Commission has declared the incumbent governor of Ondo State and candidate of the All Progressive Congress Party, APC, Governor Rotimi Akeredolu, as the winner of the Saturday's governorship election that took place in the state. While declaring the result from the keenly contested election, the returning officer, Professor Ebeli Dowo-Olayinka of the Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, said Akeredolu of the All Progressive Congress Party pulled 292,830 votes to defeat his closest rival, Eyitayo Jegede of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, who pulled 195,791 votes, while Agbola Ajayi of the Zenith Labour Party occupied the third position by scoring 69,127 votes. It will also be recalled that the election exercise, which covered the 3,009 polling units across the 18 local government areas of the state, recorded a total vote of 572,745. The contest was solely perceived to be between the contestants of the All Progressive Congress Party, APC, People Democratic Party, PDP, and Zenith Labour Party, ZLP, while other political parties recorded low votes.
That the candidates received the following votes: Rotimi Adeleye Akindejoye, male, A party; 292 292. Joshua Oluwafemi Adewale, male, 093 93 votes. Adeleye Adekunle Peter, male, of AAC, 814 814 votes. Adelekan Adedapo Oluwaseyi, male, of ADC, 2,440 2440. Martin Kunle Odatelu Olagbegi, male, of ADP, 3464 3,464. 3,464. Oduwarotimi Odunayo Akeredolu, male, of APC, 292 830 292 830. 292,830. 292,830. Odowoloba Dele, male, of Abga, 271 271. 271. Akim Olanrewaju Abinu, male, of APM, 309 309. Olaoluwa Adesanya, male, of APP, 527 527. Okwade Taiwo, female, LP, 1977 1977. 1977. Ojajuni Eniola Joseph, male, NNPP, 222. 222. Fumilayo Jenyo Ataunopo, male, NRM, 468. 468. Eyitayo Olayinka Jegede, male, of PDP, 195,791. 195,791. 195,791. Ali Babatunde Francis, male, of PRP, 669. 669. Peter Oyeleye Fashua, male, of SDP, 3053. 3053. 3,053. Ojon Dotun, male, of YPP, 398. 398. And the last but not the least in the alphabetical order of the name of the political parties, Agbola Alfred Ajayi, male, of ZLP, 69127. 69127. 69,127. 69,127. That Oduwarotimi Odunayo Akeredolu of APC secured the highest number of votes among all the 17 contestants. Moreover, it was expected to score at least 1/4 votes in 2/3, that's in 12 local governments. But it scored at least 25% in all the 18 local government areas. Then, moreover, the margin of lead, that's the difference between his vote and that of his person of the candidate who placed second, is higher than the number of cancelled votes. So the margin of lead is higher than the number of cancelled votes. So consequently, having satisfied the requirements of the law, I hereby declare Oluwarotimi Odunayo Akeredolu, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, as the winner, and is hereby returned elected. Thank you.
One of the party agents who urged that his name be confidential said the long-awaited election has come and gone in the state, with the final declaration being made by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. He further urged the winner to ensure that it meets up the expectation of the people of the state in the next 4 years of governing.
As to whether I'm certain as an individual, I have my opinion, and for the party, they will take it appropriately. For me, I think there are 2 layers to this, and I've been involved in two stages. One, the verification of documents, of certain document distribution at CBN on Thursday last week, which I believe INEC has improved in terms of capacity to have logistics put in place. They've done well. On the deployment too, I think they've done well. In regards to early start of voting process, they've done well. But it is the election process that is worrisome for me as an individual. We know that for a fact that there's a massive inducement in this election.
Governor Akeredolu celebrates victory in his country home in our town. Following the official announcement and declaration of results recorded in the governorship election in the state, Governor Rotimi Akeredolu celebrates victory amidst party supporters in his country home in our town. Our reporter, Kayode, has the details.
Following the announcement and declaration of the INEC on the concluded gubernatorial election in Ondo State, Governor Rotimi Akeredolu has celebrated victory amidst party supporters in his country home, our town in Ondo State. While giving his victory address, Akeredolu said he thanked God Almighty, Ondo State people and party contestants who contested primary election with him and later came out to support him to victory. He further stressed that he will continue to focus on the development of Ondo State.
For this overwhelming victory, I make this solemn pledge not to betray this most liberal trust reposed in us by the people of this state. I thank Ondo State people. I thank all aspirants that were contested the primaries together, all of whom came back to give support to us. We intend to address genuine grievances. We shall continue to focus on the development of a God-given space, the Sunshine State. Our administration, that is my humble self, including the Deputy Governor-elect, Lucky Orimisan Ayedatiwa, will not be distracted in the discharge of a sacred mandate. The people will continue to be the center of all decisions. As you note in my speeches that the people of this state, my romance in politics is with the people of this state. We will proceed with the administrative style which promotes transparency and accountability. We are determined to set our state on a progressive path of real development. Self-reliance is certainly attainable. Our state has no business with poverty. To be sincere, we will remain purposeful, we will remain focused, and we believe we should have little difficulty in harnessing the vast resources, both human and natural. We'll put in everything to justify the trust reposed in us, especially our youth, for ensuring that there was peace in the state during the exercise. Let me congratulate my brother, my Lanef colleague, Iyitayo Jegede, SAN, the candidate of the People Democratic Party, for participating in this historic process. His patriotism is not in doubt. His love for the people is unassailable. He is indeed a worthy adversary. Our state is indeed blessed to have someone of his quality. And I want me, Oshibaju, SAN, GCON, for his support. Let me equally acknowledge the unflinching support of our national leader, Ashaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Speaking, the executive governor of Osun State, Gboyega Oyetola, said with unity of purpose, APC will be taken to greater heights between now and 2023.
We will take APC to greater heights, even between now and 2023. I believe this is a signal for the other parties to know that we are still in charge.
The people of our town were making shouts of joy for the victory recorded by their son, Governor Rotimi Akeredolu. The reverse is the case here in Akure, the state capital, where people were seen going with their day-to-day activities without any jubilation anywhere.
Now we have come to the end of the news update that was recorded during the governorship election that held in Ondo State on October 10, 2020. And we have come to the end of the news in full. I remain your humble presenter, Kayode Ayeni, ABN TV News, Osun State, Nigeria.